Good morning, and welcome to the Rankin Report for Sunday, September 4th, 2022. From the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, and this is going to be verses 1, 2, and then 14 through 18. This is after Elijah had the great showdown on Mount Carmel with the 400 prophets of Baal, where Baal was shown to be nothing, and Elijah had ordered the people not to let the prophets of Baal get away, and they were all killed. Now Ahab, King Ahab of Israel, told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." Moving on to verse 14. Speaking to the Lord, Elijah replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too." The Lord said to him, "Go back the way you came, and go to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael king over Aram. Also anoint Jehu son of Nimshi king over Israel, and anoint Elisha son of Shaphat from Abel Meholah to succeed you as prophet. Jehu will put to death any who escape the sword of Hazael, and Elisha will put to death any who escape the sword of Jehu. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouths have not kissed him." And then from the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. "Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury, because he knows that his time is short." The death of the 400 prophets of Baal who ate at Jezebel's table hurt. It hurt her plans to make Israel like all her neighbors who were caught up in Baal worship, which included the sacrifice of children. And when you cut off the source of food for demons, they howl, frequently through the people they work through, or have control over, or even possess. So, of course, Jezebel has to target the source of the problem, the prophet Elijah. Elijah, despite the victory at Mount Carmel, realizes Jezebel is not making an idle threat. The wicked queen is perfectly capable of carrying it out. So Elijah runs off to where God met with Moses on Mount Horeb. But God didn't call his prophet there, and twice asks, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" So God has to set him straight by redispatching him, you might say, with new assignments. All of them would lead to the end of the source of Israel's infection of Baal worship and help to correct the problem. Now, what does all this have to do with America? Have you heard Joe Biden's latest speech in Philadelphia? The work of patriots and others angered by the incidents of the last few years, I think, are getting to those who seek to change this country and the globalists and elites who are footing the bill for it all. So when the leader of the nation, which Biden is not, takes to the podium and points his finger at the very people who are working to make the needed changes to this country, essentially setting up an us versus them scenario, you know they're getting nervous as midterm elections approach. The passage from Revelation I read at the beginning, I do not use because I believe we are in the 7-year tribulation period prophesied in that book and in the book of Daniel. But I do believe that those looking to destroy this country as we know it can read the writing on the wall, as it were, They know the people are starting to rise up, and they know their game is just about up, and they're getting desperate. To those of you who are in the fight to save this nation, doing what you can, I have just one thing to say. Don't let up now. Keep the pressure on those who are calling you what they actually are, the enemies of the people. You have seen clearly demonstrated over these last few years that one of their favorite tactics is to project what they're doing onto others, to divert the people's attention off of themselves. Intensify the pressure if you can. Run for local offices like school boards and precinct captains, town councils and city commissioners, or county commissioners, Vote in person and make sure that your friends are eligible to vote as well. Make this election coming up such a landslide for the Patriots that no one will be able to cheat their way out of it. And finally, pay no heed to the threats of those who need to be removed from power. Be wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. Keep your eyes open and be careful, but press on. They are scared of you. That is why they are making such a brave noise. Pray and stand firm, because God is working to restore America to his purposes, and God's purposes are never thwarted. And remember, from Isaiah chapter 7, verse 9, if you do not stand firm in your faith, you will not stand at all. Keep the pressure on them. No king but Jesus, independence forever. That's the Rankin Report for Sunday, September 4th, 2022. God bless you. Have a great day.